Hello and welcome to screencast assignment number 1 by Esteban Rodriguez Guzman. Today's topics are entities, attributes, business rule, and relation types. Moving on, entities are a person, place, an object, or an event, or a concept. An entity type, a collection of entities that share common properties or characteristics. Entity instance, a single occurrence of an entity type. A weak entity is an entity that cannot survive on its own. It has to depend on one of the stronger entities. So an example of an entity type is the hotels in Las Vegas, the Bellagio, the Cosmopolitan, the MGM Grand, all share similar characteristics. An entity instance is the Bellagio, for instance. So this is a one resort, one hotel, and the weak entity would be the room. So the room is the weak because it cannot survive without the hotel. So moving on to attributes. Properties or characteristics of an entity or a relationship type. Their required attributes must have a value for every instance. Optional attributes may or may not have a value. Composite attributes made up of different components. Identifier attributes provide unique identifier to an instant. Multi-valued attributes may take one or more value. Derived attributes, values that can be calculated. All right, so let's go into an example, and let's take the Bellagio again. This is our entity instance, and the required attribute would be the name. So the Bellagio is the name. The optional attribute is the room type. So villa, suite, standard room. The composite attribute is the address because it's made up of different components. The street name, the city, the state, and the zip code. And the multivariable or multi-value attribute is the casino because it has different types of games. Blackjack, slots, roulette, craps. The derived attribute would be booking. So if you're trying to book a room, depending on what time of year it is, you can calculate whether the rooms are going to be booked or not. So moving on to the business rule. Business rules, statement that define a constrained except aspect. Okay, a business rule is statements that define or constrain some aspects of a business. Policies, procedure, events, functions. The good business rules need to have declarative, which describes what the business rule is, not how the business rule is implemented. Precise means that it's clear upon what the business rule is. Atomic, the business is a statement. The business rule is a statement. It has to be expressible, meaning that it's using a natural language, and it's structured. A business rule that is distinct, it's non-redundant. A business rule is business-oriented. This rule is understood by business people. All right, so moving on to relationship. Relationship type is modeled by the lines between the entities, which is right here. I don't know if you can see that. So, and the relationship instance is a specific instance between each entity. So, if it's a one-to-one relation, one-to-many, or many-to-many, and that brings us up to our degree of relationship types, which is expressed by right here, one-to-many, many-to-many, or one-to-one. Where is one-to-one? Here, one-to-one. So the degrees could be unary, binary, or trinary, and the cardinality constraints are minimum or maximum, and it's described by these symbols right here, right next to the entity. And an associative entity is an entity that can be constructed between two entities that are many to many, and breaking up the relation, creating two relation types of one to many and then one to many right here too. So that concludes this screencast. Stay tuned for the next screencast.